let's get to Miz and Cody. Again, second entrance in an hour. People are still with it. They're not hooting at it. Did you see the nice touch? He's not going to wear the weight belt into the matches and then take it off and whip a guy for whatever reason at an inopportune time. He's going to come out and give it to a small child at ringside. Brett with the sunglasses, right? Again, both these guys can work. I don't get Miz, but he's athletic and, he can do the moves. He's somehow been portrayed as a main event guy for some reason. So it was perfect here because I'm not going to recap the match. They started hot. They kept up a quick pace. Cody did all his stuff. Miz cut him off and get some heat. Cody made a brief comeback for a break spot where he'd get knocked to the floor. They come back. A little more heat. A big comeback. Fucking does one big dive, comes off the top rope, tweaks his knee. Miz gets a figure 4. Cody reverses it. Miz gets the ropes, and Cody hits the Cody Cutter Crossroads 3 count. That's exactly what it should be. They did everything right. Because, again, this is, say what you want, and we have, about Vince and or the whole company, but if they decide they're going to make a star, or they're going to sign a new talent and push him and get him over to where they can get a return on their investment, they do the right thing with him at the start. A newcomer to the company in his first television match against a guy that used to be and is still considered a longtime main eventer. It's a competitive match, but the new guy wins with his finish that he only used once. It didn't take but once. It didn't, let's give him 3 Crossroadses. That's the way you debut a star. Now the people know, even if you haven't already told them with the interviews and the pyro and the gaga and the spotlights and the footprints in Grauman's Chinese Theater, if the new guy goes competitively with a main event guy that's established as a main event guy and seen in the fans' eyes as a main event guy and then beats that guy decisively, that new guy's a main event guy. There you go. And then Seth Rollins got in the ring and weirdly asked for a rematch. I think, is it Mike Johnson or Dave Shearer on PWInsider.com that is now using the term Sething for whatever it is that he funny. Does and how he moves down to the ring and swims in the air. He's Sething. And so we're going to see and I won't mind seeing that match again. And it shows they're not rushing Cody versus Roman Reigns or whatever. But
I don't know. On the other hand, though, that's one of the things I was kind of thinking this is like an area where almost applying the AEW logic kind of worked if Cody just won the match and moved on to something else, because everyone does rematches. And once you start rematching everyone nonstop, it means less and less. It's like Cody's back in their system, rematch with Seth, and then there'll be a rematch with Seth after that. And then they'll move on to something else and he'll have rematches with that person.
Well, but how many others they got that can just go, maybe they ought to do the legend killer thing again. Bring back a bunch of legends and let Cody beat them, because at least they're over.
Hey, Kevin Owens is his buddy. You got to figure they're going to do him and Kevin Owens at one point. Remember, Kevin Owens is the one that linked him up with the Young Bucks before he left WWE 6 years ago.
Oh, good Lord. I did not actually remember that because I don't know that I ever knew that because it wasn't my week to watch them and I don't really care. But anyway, so